Welcome back to another episode of Hair What I'm Saying, the podcast where we keep it real about beauty, culture, and the crown we wear every day, our hair. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been glamorized, misunderstood, and even mislabeled for years, braids and hair loss. So many of us have grown up thinking that braids are automatically a protective style, but are they really protecting our hair? Or could they be doing the opposite? To help me break this down, I invited the amazing Angel Henderson, a natural texture specialist and salon owner based in Georgetown, Texas. She's someone who truly celebrates real hair, educates her clients, and understands the science behind healthy styling. We're talking myths, scalp health, braid tension, synthetic hair dangers, and everything in between. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Hair What I'm Saying podcast. I'm your host, Kenitra Stewart. Today we have Angel Henderson of Beyond Beauty, a natural hair expert located in Georgetown, Texas, here to discuss braids and hair loss with us. Welcome to the show, Angel. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Doing good. That's good. How you feeling overall?
I'm feeling good. This is my first time doing a podcast, but not my first time talking to you. So
at all, we've had countless conversations about hair, the industry, the toxicity, the good, all of it. All right, so I wanted to invite you on the show because I saw that you have been sharing content on braids and hair loss. And I wanted you to be able to elaborate more about it because, like with the content on social media, it's really hard to get all of the gems, out. And everyone's attention span is so short on, social media. So it's let's put it out there so that people can be aware, Black women specifically, since we're always wearing braids, about, some of the things that we are not aware of when it comes to braids. They can be great, but they're not always. They can also be problematic too.
Yes.
Depending on how you approach it, pre and post, braid styles, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, cool. So thank you for accepting the invite.
No problem.
And we're going to roll on to the first question. So first, we just want to talk about you. How did you get into doing hair and when did you know that natural texture was going to be the thing you eventually transitioned into specializing in?
Oh, okay. So I got into hair fairly early. So I started when I was 10 years old, I went into a foster home and I had tons.
I never knew about you.
No. But I'm not proud of it. It's my story now. So I'm more comfortable with speaking on it and telling others. But that's how I got into it. So I was 10 when I went into foster care. Tons of hair, just tons of hair. And, at 10 years old, you're starting to get into that age where you start to care about yourself. You're transitioning into a preteen. So my first foster home, she was a disabled lady. Mm-hmm. So she was disabled, so she wasn't able to take care of my hair. And my mom was fairly good at it until she went into her depression and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I was used to my hair being kept up. Right. And I was used to, people always saying, you have beautiful hair. Your hair is so pretty. Let me get one of those ponytails. How our community is.
Yeah.
So I went into the foster care and I had to start to take care of my hair. And that was a whole different thing. I didn't want to go to school and be embarrassed. It was already a different world for me going into that.
Right.
So started to learn there. And then I went to a different foster home. And this foster home had other little girls in the home. Mm-hmm. And I was taking care of my hair. And they're like, okay. At 11 and almost 12, I was started to braid my own hair and put beads on it. And they're like, okay, can you do? And my little sister was in that foster home with me also. And I started to do her hair. And so I started to do the other little girls' hair. And I had me a little clientele, honey, about
right
3
there
or 4.
Home. Oh, my goodness.
So that's where it all started. And so getting more into natural hair, when I went to cosmetology school, they taught us everything. So I was doing relaxers and, that was in 2009 and natural hair was just starting to touch, our community and we started to feel comfortable with it. So I was still doing relaxers then. I didn't jump deep into natural hair until I moved here to Austin about 7 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you were still pretty much servicing clients behind the chair with relaxers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you still or you just straight natural hair?
Straight natural.
Okay.
I don't offer relaxers at all. I haven't offered a relaxer. I probably only did relaxers for a couple of years here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the demand is so low. Mm-hmm. You don't really make money from it.
No.
It'll take you a long time to go through a whole jar of relaxer today, you know?
And that's what I was getting into. I kept my jar of relaxers for a while. And I'm like, the shelf life, I can't be still
You
good.
can't.
And I'm not, I wasn't focused on learning it anymore. And like our mindset as caring for the hair, when you get a stylist that cares, you want to know everything about what you're doing to your client's hair.
Right.
And I wasn't interested in learning that anymore. I was shifting more into the natural hair.
Yeah.
And I just had like 2 or 3 relaxed clients. So I was like, you know what? I know somebody for y'all.
Yeah, well, good. At least you can refer them out to somebody, because even it's still hard to refer them out because a lot of us aren't really doing relaxers no more. I know I still did, until I no longer do hair no more. But I was definitely, still doing relaxers for certain clients.
Yeah.
But like you said, that shelf life for that relaxer, you don't really get to use all of that relaxer.
You don't. And I worked with a stylist that one jar of relaxer took like 10 people hair out. And that scared
10 people hair out?
Yes, like out.
Oh.
Like out where they was coming back and it was like, okay, yeah, it was out. So yeah. So
what relaxer was that?
What brand?
Yeah.
Affirm.
Oh, I hate Affirm. I've never liked Affirm. It took my hair out too. Ever since it took my hair, I was like, I'm done with this relaxer. I just feel like the regular strength is strong too.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, no.
I hate that relaxer. What were some of the biggest myths you had to let go in your own path as a hairstylist?
Biggest myths, one, grease, like heavy grease. Like greasing the scalp, the blue magic, baby.
Yeah.
Like, when we were younger, it was like you line the girls up at night and we gonna oil your scalp and we gonna plait it and then you gonna go to sleep. That pillow gonna be greasy in the morning.
In the morning, girl.
Yes. But it would
bleed through your scarf too.
And I would go outside, my hair cooking, and I had tons of it, so it was just cooking, scalp crackling. But yeah, it was like, that's one thing, the grease, and then shampooing consistently. We were taught that sometimes dirty hair, makes your hair grow, or shampooing it too much is gonna make your hair too dry for us. So those 2 things I had to like unlearn. Like, we don't need grease. You don't blue magic just because your hair is shiny. That don't mean it's just amazing.
I know. It was like a black household
Holy
tradition.
grail, wasn't it? Yeah.
What about did y'all ever get like a cup of water and dip the brush in it too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they brushing from your eyebrows to the back of your
Yes, indeed, girl. Those are some of my best childhood memories, even though they weren't good. But they were definitely some of the best. But they was doing
what they only knew. They were doing what they knew. That's all we knew.
That's true. And then they don't have the education like
exactly.
We have.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I wasn't even expecting you to say that. Okay, so let's get into the topic of braids. People always call them protective styles. However, the word gets used loosely. From your professional experience, when are braids actively or actually protective, and when are they not?
First, what are we protecting? Like, what are we really protecting? When you say I'm in a protective style, what are we protecting? And most of the time we're protecting from our own hands in our head all the time, or we're protecting, like over manipulation of our hair, which is your hands, and we're protecting like your ends being sealed, or we're protecting because we just, protecting our time because we don't want to spend time on our hair.
We sure don't.
So it's like at first what are we protecting? And after that, protective styles can be good, but it's only good if you go into it with healthy hair. I'm protecting my hair, but my hair is already damaged and it's already broken, it's already dry, so I'm gonna go into a protective style. That's when it's not protecting.
Right.
It's not protecting then, and it's not protecting when we leave them in too long, or it's too tight, or all those things. So we like you said, we use it loosely. We're protecting our hair, but first, what are we protecting? How are we protecting? And longevity of it. We want it to last. They say I paid $300 for these braids. They better last.
Yes.
Or I had them in for 2 months. They look good still.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but it's not protecting now. You're destructive. You're destructing stuff now.
And neglecting at that point, because that's too long to leave them up,
Yeah. So it becomes a protective style when you go in it and your hair is actually healthy and you are doing the things that you need to do to your hair, your scalp, along with your hair strand. So that's when it's protective, and you don't leave it in for, months on end. That's when it's protective.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I love that question because it's very valid. Like, what are you protecting? Like you said, mostly that time.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to spend no time doing our hair.
We don't.
And it's more of a convenience hairstyle more than anything. Like, we're not really thinking about the pre-hair care.
No.
Before we even get into these braids. Like, you really need to take the time to take care of your scalp and hair before you put it into that style. Because, like you said, it's not necessarily protecting it, whenever, depending on how you, wear these braids, how long you wear these braids, or whatever the case may be. And then when you take them out, like, what are you going to do to make sure that your hair the integrity stay intact,
Yeah.
But I feel like mostly from what I hear, it's more about time. It's not really the hair,
No, it's more about time. Like, I'm tired of my hair. I'm about to put it up.
And that's exactly what I did with these.
Yeah.
Like, I put it up.
And that's exactly what I did with these. But this is forever. Well, this is, like, that's just the truth, because it was time, Kanisha. It was time, because I'm in everybody else's head. I don't have time
to do your hair.
I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I look like trash.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do to my hair? And, it's like, it takes a lot to get ready in the morning when you in everybody else's head.
You sure
I'm like,
does.
I just, no. And I was finding myself just brushing my hair back in the ponytail, or straightening it or doing whatever, but I wasn't taking the time for me. So I'm like, okay, I have to do something.
And then eventually you're going to neglect your own hair.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
so
your hair looks so good.
Thank you.
And it done grew so much since I've
you.
seen you.
Thank you.
But yeah, like you said, time. That was that one. Like, I'm like, girl, I know for me, it's time, more than anything. And I'm not going into it thinking like I'm protecting a strand.
Yeah.
Like,
like, what are we protecting?
Yeah.
Like I told one of my clients, like, girl, her hair, I'm like, well, you need to put not a protective style, you need to put some mittens on your hands, because you tearing it up.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
right?
Like, they do so much. Well, we do so much, because I've done so much. Like, just so much. Like, you feel like every hair needs to be in place, and if you leave it alone and you find something that you're comfortable with, it can be protective.
Right.
But what are we protecting? Time, and we're protecting them from ourselves. We're protecting it from ourselves.
That's right. Because if you notice, I think that's why that misconception of it being protective over problematic is more a thing for most clients, because when it's in those braids, they see the length retaining. And when it's not in the braids, they see it breaking. But it's more of like, you are the one that's not taking care of it. You are the one that's causing it to break, because you don't know what to do with your hair. So in their head, it's like, oh no, it's protecting my hair, because anytime it's in these braids, it's doing great.
It's doing great. And they're like, oh, I got a lot of new growth. But what about the outgrowth? What about, all the other things?
Yeah.
And, even with our kids, like my daughter, I'm like, you have to, when you have your braids, and you have to spray, you have to moisturize. So it's like, what are we protecting?
Girl, even your baby, what she be doing? Girl, she don't be wanting to listen, ain't she?
No. She's starting to now. Because I gave her that haircut.
You gave her a haircut?
Yeah, because it was like, that, like, when you first starting to do your hair, the over manipulation, I want everything to be in place. I'm cute, and then she has a lot of hair also.
She
so
do
it's like,
have a lot of hair.
She like, I feel like I get a haircut every time you do. You really do.
Because it's
and your hair should be down your back.
Yeah. It's like so cliche to me when we have daughters, and especially if we are promoting hair care, and then they go out here and do this. Like, girl, you ain't listening to me. So why do I expect my clients to listen to me, girl?
Yeah, but they do teach us. Like, I know she enlightens me, like, what I should talk to my clients about. Like, she's a client, she's a client. So what she thinks and how she takes care of her hair at home, and she's a product junkie as well. And
baby. Oh my God.
And she's starting to unlearn that too. I'm like, because it's the internet. They come up like, this is this is that, did this type of product. I'm like, if you understand the ingredients in the product, which I took time to, and your mom, you have it right on here, then you don't need all that.
You don't. I'm glad you brought that up too, about the ingredients in the product. How I feel like that needs to be clients need to be educated on that more than they do the actual product, because that front part is just the marketing label.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it contains vitamin E and it contains aloe vera, but it's like, go look at them ingredients.
The ingredients, and then actually how you use it, what you build off of.
That's
like this is building off of this, is that, you know.
Absolutely.
Like,
That's where the real education is when you want to go shopping for some products.
Yes. Yeah.
And like you said, you won't need a whole beauty supply store if you did, you know?
Yes.
One thing I see, and I also notice, like, behind the chair, you know, most clients have this misconception of, like, the tighter the braid, the better it is, the better, you know, the longer it lasts, like we just mentioned. But that tension can be real damage.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, like, how do you approach, if you ever had to, how do you approach this to bring awareness for, you know, Black women who have this misconception that the tighter the braid, the longer it lasts, but understanding that that's more of a problematic situation?
I just try to educate them on the end result. You know, I give them the worst case scenario. You know, like the tighter the braid, you know, I have the microscope in the salon. Let me show you what can happen. Or let me show you some pictures of some scalps that I've taken, you know, some previous pictures of clients. You know, so this is where they started, this is where they ended. When you see that white bulb, we do have shedding. You know, we go through stages of shedding. But when you see consistent white bulbs, especially around your hairline, sometimes that's not coming back. You know, sometimes that's not coming back. And if it doesn't come back and you feel like, you know, the tighter the braid, the longer it lasts because you want to get your money's worth, you got to understand what it's going to feel like to, you know, have to go to a dermatologist, have to get steroid shots, have to, you know, if it comes back, or have to get a surgery. Like some people have to get hair replacement surgery because of traction alopecia. Transplants, yes. So I try to tell them that and educate them on that, you know, and a lot of times it works, but sometimes, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
You can't make them drink, girl.
And it hurts your heart. You be like, man.
Because you can see the end result for them.
And if they come in, and I have clients that come in and they have braids, they wear braids most of the time. So they'll come in and like, I want you to shampoo, deep condition, trim, you know, give me braid prep, give me a scalp detox, all the good things, and I'm gonna go back in braids. You kind of like wasting your money with me, because when you come back and your hair's been up in braids for 3 months and this is the only shampoo that you're getting. This is the only shampoo that you're getting on a regular basis. This is the only shampoo you're getting. So and I've turned people down, or I've told them, like, you don't even have to come and spend your money with me. Like, you don't have to, all money, you know how long we've been doing. All money, not good money. Like, I would rather you just continue to do what you're doing and take me out of the mix and save your money, invest, get more braids, do something, save it for a trip, than me to see you come in here and they say, who does your hair? I go to Beyond Beauty. We're not doing that.
Because they're not going to walk them through the story of the neglect.
No.
You know, during the whole process.
No.
You know, there is it, and they never do, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes a professional, they know. Yeah. They know for sure. Like, I know if you've been seeing a professional regularly versus you've been in more of a quote unquote problematic, well, we're going to say problematic style, you know, more than anything. You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you backtrack and you really get the nitty gritty of the history, and also start challenging them, like, well, you know, normally I don't see this if you're regularly going to someone to get your hair done. You know, this looks more like breakage from braids, you know? Yeah. But I'm with you there. I don't like to be in the mix of that either, because then that's your reputation on the line, you know, where people are looking at your Instagram like, well, I don't see that anywhere. Oh, this is one of the ones she don't want to show. Because, you know? Like, ain't got
you always
nothing to do
show
with
your best work. You know, that's just like, I'm not going to put up something where, you know, you come in and you want a silk press and, you know, you refuse a haircut, and it's like,
I'm not putting that up.
No, I'm not putting that up. No.
Because it also,
that's not a part of my brand.
Exactly.
It's my name is Beyond Beauty. It's beyond you looking good. It's like, I'm deeper than that.
I love that.
Man, it's deeper than that. Yeah.
It's all about, people have to go, you have to find the hairstylist or the professional for whatever needs that you want. If it's hair care, then you have to seek a person that's all about hair care, and then that finish will be last, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely,
That's the finished product is just the icing on the cake. All the things that happened before, man.
That's what's important, you know? Absolutely. And what about timing? How long is too long to keep braids in before it starts working against you?
That's really loaded as well. It depends on your hair, you know. Like we talked about, it depends on the health of your hair before you get the braids. It depends on the thickness of your hair. You know, more finer hair is easier to break. You know, even with the color of your hair. Some like when you have a lighter texture hair, it's just the layers of your hair aren't as strong, and you don't have as many layers as someone with darker, thicker hair. So it depends on your hair. Like people ask, like, how long? It depends. It really does depend on your hair. I say generally no more than 6 weeks. And like, I'm gonna pay this lady this. I'm sitting in that chair this long. Like I'm like, yeah, about 6 weeks, because at that point you need some protein.
Yep.
You know, and even if you try to take care of your hair in braids, you still need things that the braiding hair is gonna soak up before it gets to your hair.
Sure,
you know, so you need things in your hair, and it depends on your hair strand.
They sure
and it's
do.
the people that want to go on braids, the hair is already damaged. Like you probably should keep those up for 2. You know,
Absolutely.
and then I have a lot of clients that say you shouldn't get braids at all. I'm sorry, you should not get braids at all. And they're like, "What I'm supposed to do? I'm going on vacation." You shouldn't get braids at all. We can explore other things.
Wear your hair.
Yeah, try to wear your hair. Like,
hair.
try it.
Yep.
You should try it. You should
But
try
I love that answer, because it's not a one size fits all. It's all situational. It's all circumstantial too. You know, like you said, you know, it just depends on the hair.
It really does.
It do.
It depends on your hair. It depends on your scalp. You know, it depends on your lifestyle. It depends on all of those things.
It
So
sure
I can't
does.
tell you that.
But that 6 weeks is like that sweet spot.
Yeah, that's a sweet spot.
Right?
Yeah,
it
it's
sure
a sweet
is.
spot.
I'm at 6 weeks right now. I was like, shoot, I'm going to do this podcast though first, and then I'll take these things.
Because of your time.
I was like, I was like, no. But yeah, I made 6 weeks Saturday. And I was like, that podcast Monday. I was like, oh, no. I was like, I'm going to do this podcast, and I'm going to take them braids out. I'm going to hit that 7-week mark. But I know my hair, you know.
You know your hair.
Yeah, I'm going to hit that 7-week mark, and then I'll remove them. But I was like, Okay, so beauty over health. Social media plays such a big role now. We see these gorgeous styles that go viral, but the scalp is suffering behind the scenes. Do you think we're learning more into, not learning, but leaning more into aesthetics than the actual integrity of the hair's health?
Yes, I do. I really do. Because the Instagram and all the TikToks and the Snapchat, that is all about aesthetics. You know, it's all about aesthetics. Like we spoke on before, we're not going to show you our worst day or us waking up with our edges frizzy. You know, we're not doing that. So
ain't that vulnerable.
No, we're not that vulnerable. So it's like, especially with the younger girls coming up, you know, they came up with social media. They came up with having to be perfect. They came up with the filters and all these things. So, you know, they are leaning more towards aesthetic. Like I have to be on all the time. Like I have to be on all the time because everybody else on. And when you lay down and you scrolling, you feel like everybody, where you seen them is where they left off. If you seen them looking beautiful on the beach, you feel like I'm going to sleep, but she's still standing up beautiful on the beach.
That's
it's not.
Right. It's such an illusion.
It's such an illusion. And not even just with the braids. It's with these lace front wigs,
everything.
Honey. Like they have to be laid. You see every lace front wig laid flat on your edges with the glue.
Yeah.
You know,
and only can you imagine what that's going to do?
Oh, I know what it's going to do because I have people to come to me and they have lace fronts. Well, they've been wearing lace fronts. You know, I don't do them, but they come and they're like, I want to do. I've never had a client that is in consistent lace fronts where their hair is healthy at all. Not one person. Nope. It's always all broke off around the edges.
And then the rest of the hair looks so good. Right?
Yes. It's like, it's either good or bad. It's like your edges broke off always 100%.
Yeah.
And then your hair is full back here.
Yeah.
So I'm having to do a comb over. Or it's like it's broke off back there because some people are like, I don't want to cut it. What are you? You don't even wear your hair. So why are we holding on to what? You don't wear it at all.
No.
Like you don't wear it at all. And they'll come in for like a silk press or something, or I refuse, or I'll do it. And they're like, how long is it going to last? It's not going to last that long, baby. I just wanted to give you a good haircut.
Why it's not going to last. Come on, tell them.
Because your hair, your layers of your hair is so broken down, and it's so split to where even if it's split and I trim your split ends, that hair that's split and that one... The left, it's like a Twix, you got the left and you got the right. So if they split, they better together. But if that left split off and this is dangling and lifeless, then that's not gonna.
Your silk press ain't gonna last. It's
so
not gonna
limp.
last.
It's not moving left or right. It's just, it's not gonna last.
And then, if they also keep these wigs installed and these braids installed for long periods of time, you're not getting no hydration.
No hydration.
So as soon as you hit the outdoors, that moist, your hair gonna be like, yes,
right,
so dehydrated. Give me that moist, and then next thing you know, your hair is pooping up.
This pooping up because it's wanting all the moisture that it can get from anywhere. It's like cough. It's like and it is. Say I'm wrong, Kenitra. I'm not wrong, huh?
Somebody call. No, for real.
No, for
any type
of anything. It's like it's just dying. Yeah.
Somebody
and then here we go on saying that Angel did my hair and it didn't last.
No, I know. I feel like, oh my goodness, like we have to start taking accountability.
Yeah.
This is not necessarily your hair not lasting because you didn't get a good silk press.
Because here's the thing. We always talk about healthy hair journeys. It's like you want healthy hair, but you don't want the journey part. It's a journey.
It's
like
a
healthy hair journey. It's a journey. People use I'm on my healthy hair journey, but you're not. But you're not. You want to go fast, but you're not. If you haven't taken care of your hair for years, it take a long time for your hair to grow out from the scalp to your chin.
Right.
Like that's years. Of a healthy head of hair. So people like, how long? Consistently.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take? Years. So if you don't have time, you
on a sprint, honey. You ain't on no journey
You're
here.
not on a journey. You're not. It's, man.
But those are facts. And, what I also see is years of neglect, thinking one hair appointment is going to fix it. Honey, it's going to take years to fix it. It takes years
to fix it.
Just as much you put into it.
It takes years to fix it, and a lot of it is irreversible. You have to cut. And I tell clients that when they come, especially their first appointment, I'm like, okay, here's where we are. You see through, even though you see through the area and that's what we're going to cut off, it's still some damage up the hair shaft.
Sure is.
Up the hair shaft. So we still have to grow, cut. You might be here. You might be at a bob length for a year or so.
Yeah.
Because we growing and cutting.
Yep.
But I promise you it's worth it.
It is.
It's so worth it.
It is. And I love to get the clients that just trust your word
or
and
do
move
whatever.
forward, right? And you actually see them with results faster.
You do.
You really opposed to the ones who are just so hesitant to just move forward with the treatment,
you do.
And
you get those clients that come and they're not coming back.
Girl, they're not coming back. But sometimes you get the clients and, girl, they come back.
You think they're not coming back? And they come back.
I didn't even document this because I didn't think she was coming back.
She ain't coming back.
Right. They don't even give you that energy. They just kind of there. They say they want something, you do it, and they leave and you like, she ain't coming back.
No. Or they there and they say like 20 words the whole appointment, which I'm fine with. You remember I got my TV?
5 people a day. You get exhausted.
No, I'm done. I do 3 people a day.
Good.
Just 3 people a day.
Yeah.
But they come back and you're like, oh, you serious?
And then they keep coming back.
You like,
I didn't even document this. So mad at myself.
Yeah.
Especially too, like I had a client when she first came to me. She actually came for a bridal trial.
Okay.
But I didn't do the bridal trial because her hair was too broke. I said, let's just take care of your hair this appointment and you come back and we'll do the bridal trial. So we cut it. And we cut into a bob because it was broke off in that little neck area.
Okay.
So we cut into a short bob. And over the years, it has grown, but she can't see it.
Yeah, they can't.
And I was like, I hate I didn't document this. But I also thought since she initially booked for me to do her hair for the wedding, I was like, she ain't coming back. I'm going to cut this. This is a good, healthy start for her. We'll do the hair for the wedding and that'll be it. But she kept coming back. So then her hair grew about maybe a little past her shoulders. Okay. But she has really fine hair.
Okay.
And that's another thing I hate about social media, because a lot of content that gets pushed is more of girls with like thick, voluminous, that real low density hair.
Yeah.
And we are thinking if we grow our hair, maybe the thickness is gonna come with it. That's not always the case.
That's not everybody's hair.
It's not. No. So she don't see length or fullness. So I was helping her, so we went back to like one picture I showed her, whenever we first started. Thank God I had that picture, because I was just showing her the breakage so that she could see it.
Yeah.
But still, just because it wasn't where she think it should be, she could not even appreciate it. I'm like, y'all have to appreciate the process too, and the progress.
You have to appreciate the process, the progress, and you have to appreciate what God gave you coming from your head. Because it's not everybody don't have full thick hair. That don't mean it's not beautiful hair. Exactly. That don't mean we can't explore styles that's going to make it appear to be thicker, or styles that's going to, make you feel good about your hair. But everybody don't have that.
They don't.
And it's okay.
It is. I feel like be happy you have it. I have clients that sit in my chair that have scarring hair loss. Girl, they would trade heads with you right now.
I say that, especially people like my edges, baby. If you got some, I know some people that don't have, and they not coming back, and then I have people that don't have edges and they okay with it. They like, this is what I did. This is where I'm at, so we gonna do this. And I suggest different stuff like a middle part or something, and they okay. And it's all about, accepting what you have.
That's right.
And building off of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Girl. Okay, so let's talk about the scalp. That's the foundation, and often it gets neglected in braided styles. What do you recommend for prepping the scalp before braids and keeping it healthy while it's in the long-term hairstyle?
A scalp detox for sure. Those oils that come out of our scalp, we have to lift all that up before we even get the braids. Some people, they do a basic shampoo and then, they like, my scalp is, and how a lot of braiders do, they have their, what is it, the edge control? What do they put on it?
That edge control. Or that edge control.
Yeah, they slap it on your scalp, so you doomed.
They layer it too, girl. You said you doomed.
It's like that we putting it on thick.
Yeah, you doomed.
You doomed.
Angel.
Because where it's going. It can't, our curly girls, the product come from here, and it's like a maze to get down to the end. That's why our hair is dry.
That's why
it's dry. So if you put that edge control right on your scalp, and a lot of it, it don't have nowhere to travel to.
Yeah.
So it's only going to travel to that base of your braid, which is going to give you that knot with all that product, which is going to break your hair off right there, or it's going to sit on your scalp. So you have to give yourself a fair start with a scalp detox, to get whatever the elements in the air and impurities and stuff that we can't see with the human eye that we can see under a microscope. So you have to give that good scalp detox. And, while you have your braids in, you have to do something to it. You can't just consistently put braid spray or oil on it.
No.
You can't do that. So you have to either shampoo. Sometimes I'll tell clients, okay, if you don't want to fully shampoo, you can wet a towel, wipe it, wet a towel, put a little something on it, and wipe your scalp. We got to do something
to it, yeah.
And then shampooing your braids. A lot of people don't like to do that because it causes the frizz and stuff like that, and it takes a while to dry. So they don't want to do that, but that's a good thing too.
And that's that aesthetic over health.
Yes.
Yeah.
That aesthetic over health. Yep.
I know. I saw a girl on TikTok. She made a post and she said, she didn't say anything. It was just captioned. And she was showing her braids and she was like, I make sure to shampoo my scalp and my braids as soon as the braider is done. Girl, you should have saw them comments. It was like, what? You spend all that money? I'm going to make them frizzy again and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the funny thing is, I literally said, when I got these braids, I said, the next time I get some braids, I'm shampooing my hair right after she's done, if I have the energy, or the next day, because I just want all that product off my scalp, And whenever I did shampoo my hair with these braids, it was just lighter.
Like, yeah. You know, and it's refreshing.
Yes.
It's so refreshing when you do it. You're like, man, that felt good. You know? And it's just, and I understand why they use a lot of product, because I don't want to like bash the braiders. I used to braid. I started braiding before I started doing natural hair or hair period. I was a braider.
Right.
So I understand why they use it, to get all that hair in there and to braid it and the longevity. But it's like, but that's before I learned too. You know, that's before I was educated on the hair strand, before I went to cosmetology school, before I was educated on the scalp and all that stuff. Right. So, you know, I understand, but in another sense, now it's not helping us either.
No. And I usually don't leave mine up long enough to wash it. Sometimes I'll do 4 weeks and they out. You know,
that was me. That was me, because my hair used to get tender around the edges. You know, so it's like me pushing them to the side or pulling them up, and it was heavy, and I would get headaches as well. So I'm like, I can't keep them up that long. And it wasn't my new growth. Like, people like, my new growth, the texture of my hair, my braids will slide anyway. So it's not new growth. It's just sliding down.
Yeah, because you have that really soft texture. It's really hard to grip. Like,
So yeah.
Yeah, and even then, you know, I feel like 4 weeks was still too long to go without any water on my scalp. You know, now that I'm getting more into learning about, you know, I don't wear braids a lot. So I'm trying to, you know, not trying, but I was like stuck in that space of, well, I don't wear them a lot, so I don't have to really shampoo my hair. But I'm like, no, you need to shampoo that stuff at least every 2 weeks, because that scalp just need that water. But this time I was like, I'm just going to shampoo it right after she's done, because just to receive, you know, or lift up all of that buildup, you know, off of my scalp. And then the braids got lighter. And I feel like, I think I washed my hair at week 3 with these. It didn't have a lot of frizz. You know, I just used like some Nairobi mousse and just mold it down and put a wave cap on it and set under the dryer.
I
you
tell
know?
them,
And it was cool, you know. But that girl received a lot of backlash in those comments. Like, girl, I would never. Like, you spend all that money. And then you're going to wash your hair right after she's done with it. And who does that?
You spend all that money on, and this is what baffles me, you spend all that money on weave and braids, but you will not spend money on your hair? Like, it just really like I'm not spending all that money on no natural style. Baby, like, for real, you're not going to spend no money on you getting the scalp detox. So this is what I do. Scalp detox, I'm clarifying your hair, giving you a whole pex rebonding treatment. You know, now I'm putting moisture back into your hair. Now I'm giving you a deep condition or protein treatment, moisturizing treatment, whatever treatment I feel is necessary for you. Then we detangling at the bowl. We massaging, we do, and I'm detangling, and then we get up, we blowing, we trimming. You ain't going to take care of yourself. You're not going to do that all for yourself, but you will spend like all this money on these wigs and braids and stuff.
Something that's not like, even a part of you. Like, you okay with investing in a foreign object. But the you know, but the hair that's on your head, you don't want to take the time to invest in that.
They don't take the time because they take it out and they put it back in. They don't even want to see themselves without the braids and the hair.
No,
like, they don't. And it's, man.
That's true. I definitely have a few like that, or had a few like that, where they just, I had one client, she first came to me, and I don't think she ever received a trim just based on how her hair was just breaking. You know, it was like thick at the roots, but just fine and limp everywhere else. And it just looked like never had a cut, you know. And so we cut it into like one of the ugly 90-degree haircuts, you know. And she's like, oh, I want waist-length hair. I want you to grow it down to my waist. I said, you know, with time and, you know, with consistency, we might can get there. I was like, but baby,
that's
you
a lot of pressure on me.
Right. You're going to have to be patient. Okay. That's like 8 years. You know, like, come on, let's be honest.
You're like, I take care of my hair and it's not waist-length.
I'm like,
sometimes you can't get there.
No, you can't.
You just,
you know, I was like, we going to see, you know. So, girl, we cut it and it grew. It, you know, she kept coming back, but she did not want to touch her hair. So it was more like, I'm coming in just for you to. We was doing hair extensions. Okay. So she would come in, do the weave maintenances. That was a good thing about her. She stayed on top of the appointment. So she did see results because of that. We got her down to probably at the bottom of her bra. Yeah, because she had that hair that could grow.
Yeah.
And you could tell. You know, you could tell, like, you could probably get there. You'd be like, probably, maybe bra length. You know? And so, but she got pregnant. She went to back to Houston to live. Her and her husband lived with her mom while her house was getting built in Austin. When she came back, her hair was broke off.
Don't that break your heart too?
Oh, it broke my heart. Start all over again. Got it back growing. I didn't see her for like 6 months. Came back, broke off again. I'm telling you, we grew it to the same length at least 4 times. The last time I saw her, it was up here to her neck. Like I had to cut it all off. Yeah. And so I'd be like, if you keep coming, if you stay consistent, you could actually see some results. Yeah. But it came to this point where it was like, well, my silk press is on last. And I was like, but you don't wear your hair. You don't wash it enough.
And they say like you can heat train it. It's really not heat training. It's you getting the proper products and you getting it properly done and you building and you taking care of your you taking your hair, you taking care of it. I was on the on Instagram and I seen a lady post. She was like, I don't understand why y'all do all these hydrating treatments, all this, and then y'all gonna blow out their hair and y'all gonna silk press. Y'all just wasting time. Y'all just messing. I said, I stay out of the comments because we can go all night. Right. But I'm like, you have to prep that hair. You have to hydrate that hair in order for things to work. Like you are building up strength for it to withstand the things that you're going to do to it. Like, exactly. But y'all know more than me.
I feel like it's not to knock the influencers. I feel like they just have more mind control over, the consumers than we do,
And they have more mind control because we say it takes time, We are real about it. Yeah.
And some people want that beautiful lie, not the ugly truth. It's like, this is just what if you listen to what I'm, informing you on what to do. I promise you, the reason why you keep coming back is because you are listening to that influencer. The reason why you don't see no results is because you was listening to the influencer.
And there's so many influences. You don't know what to do because nobody's really looking at your hair. You're not sitting in anyone's chair and they're saying, okay, your hair is finer. I see that you don't have as many layers as the next. So we're going to have to do this, that, and that. They don't come up with a plan for you. So you can't be out there on the internet just swaying with the wind. No. Because you're going to be bald-headed.
No, you are.
But if that's what you want,
Never wrong with that either.
Right.
It's just all about the goal, at the end of the day. Are there any treatments you swear by for your clients that keep their scalp in good condition?
I have a few. I was doing Wonder Crown with Mazzani, which I like that. I do like that. It's a more oil base. So, oil lifts oil. So with my oilier client, I like that. I've been dabbling in Amika's preset, their charcoal scalp detox. I like that because it's light and I like that they have a lot of natural products, like clean products. I've been liking Amika lately. Expensive as hell, but I like them.
Sure is, even for the professionals. God bless the consumers.
I went in there and I'm like, I was racking them. They like $450. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
It's expensive.
Let me get the trial sizes and see. And I like the full line of Biolage. I like their cleanness.
Yes.
I like the
scalp
full.
sync?
Yes, I love their scalp sync. I love that. So, like with my clients that really have just scalp issues, and like if I do a pre-poo and they sit in the chair, then I'm going in with my scalp sync each time.
Indeed. I love that. It's so gentle
good. Yes,
too, right?
It's so gentle. It's so non-stripping. It's so not perfumey. You got some good scents, but it's not like you didn't drop your Versace in there.
The whole bottle, right?
No.
Because a lot of people aren't aware that fragrance sometimes is even harmful, on the hair, on the scalp.
Yeah.
Especially if you're very sensitive.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of sometimes find a product that's very light.
Yeah, very light.
Smelling or it's fragrance free,
right.
So that's right, girl. But Biolage, they definitely stepped it up whenever they came out with that scalp sync line.
They did.
Yeah. And like you said, it's so gentle, but it does the job. You wouldn't even think that it would do so great because it's so gentle, right?
Because we used to stuff like tea tree oils and all, and that product, which I still, if I want to do a good scalp scrub, I'll hit that tea tree. But like you, with that biology, you're like, okay, this is some light stuff. Is it really going to do the job? Because, but it does it.
It does the job, girl.
I've been liking it.
I love it. I also want to touch on scar and hair loss, traction alopecia, and CCCA. Girl.
I know.
For example, these often come from repeated stress and ignoring early signs. What are some red flags people overlook when their scalp or hair is trying to communicate something?
Let's see. I know just like smell. Sometimes you can smell when your scalp needs some attention.
Yeah,
you can smell like, and then the CCCA. That it starts in your crown area.
Yes,
and then it could be like not detectable to you because who looking at their crown?
Yeah.
Besides a hairstylist. So if you catch that early, you can get the treatments. You can get the steroids. You can get the vitamin D. You can get all those things to stop it because most of the time CCCA is genetic, right?
It is.
It's like your grandmother had it, your mom had it. So if you catch it then and you go to a dermatologist, they can catch it then, but you have to someone has to be above your head to see that, but if it starts to spread, then sometimes you can't do nothing about it. You can only treat what you have,
right?
So catching those signs early, and then most of the time it's like itchy or it's inflamed, or like those type of, you may see some little red bumps, things like that. So if you catch that early, you have to catch the CCCA early. You have to.
That's right.
You have to. And with the traction alopecia, like we spoke on those bulbs that you see, those white bulbs that you see over and over, like back to back when you get those braids or you getting those wigs, or, you have to stop. There's nothing else to do with that but just stop. And I tell, like when I have my wig clients, they like, well, I just put my wig on. I'm like, do you sleep in it? Yeah. I'm like, so would you put a rubber band around your waist, around your wrist and sleep in that all night? What you think that's going to do to your hand?
Cutting off all types of blood flow.
Blood flow. And you need blood flow to grow your hair.
Yeah.
Those hair follicles, it's a whole function. It's a science behind it.
It sure is.
And blood flow starts.
Cutting off all the oxygen.
All the oxygen, all the blood flow. And you don't get no sunlight. Nothing. No, nothing. So you gotta pay attention to that. Like that, if you see like those hair bulbs, or you combing it and his hair coming out, stop.
Stop. Yeah. And those are some really great early signs. Those are like the first signs right there. Like you said, those bulbs, one, that itchy, inflamed scalp. Oh my goodness. Those are the first ones. When you start itching out of control, that's a sign that your scalp is stressed.
Yes.
It's getting ready to release that follicle.
It's going to release it. And once that, like when you have
girl.
I'm like, at the crown, once those follicles start to close, it's like it's closing off.
Then put it in a chokehold.
And it like that CCCA, you can reverse it or keep it where it is, keep it stagnant. But that's beyond our chair.
It sure
you
is.
have to go to a dermatologist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I do refer it off.
We're usually like those front lines, though. Like they always come to us first. Because I don't even know if they know this is more medical than it is anything. It's beyond what I can do, Girl. And when clients come in after years of braiding without proper care, how do you help them begin with that healing process?
It's refreshing that you say healing, because it is a healing process. And it's deeper than just healing their hair. It's so much deeper because when they have the braids back to back, you have to change their whole mindset on their hair and themselves. Like you have to try to find different styles that makes them comfortable without wearing braids. So it's like you have to come up with a plan with their hair, but you also have to come up with a relationship, build a relationship with them so that they can trust you, right? And so that you can make them feel good about wearing their own hair, because I can come up with this plan and I can say you can do 2-strand twists or, but your 2-strand twists are not going to look like you want them to look today, or tomorrow, or in a month or 2 or 6.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not going to do that. So how can I help you along this journey, right? How can I help you along this journey but still keep your hair on track, but teach you and heal you to love yourself through this all? Because it's so much of that. Like I feel so
anything,
man,
right?
it's like you have to change your mindset and you have to be okay with not doing the things that you've been doing to your hair, and we're gonna heal your hair in this process.
Yeah.
But like we said, it's healing you too.
It sure is.
Because and I'm sympathetic with it, and I try to do it with love. We joke and we play and we see the stuff online and I repost. But at the end of the day, these women come in and I'm in a small suite and it's just us. People cry.
Yep.
People say, I can't wear my hair like this. What my husband gonna think? I'm in corporate. I can't do this style. What am I gonna do? It's real.
It's
like
real.
It's so real. It's a whole healing process and a journey
from within.
Yeah, for sure.
And that when you mention you only take 3 clients a day, that's why you can only take 3 clients a day, because it's not just me physically and practically doing your hair.
No. It's more than that.
Yeah,
it's so
I'm like
much
nurturing you to love yourself, through like you said, through the process. It's a lot.
Yeah, because Kanisha, I was adding hair to twist. I stopped doing that. I was doing microlinks and sew-ins. I stopped doing that. So I still have some clients from that.
Right.
I still have clients from when I was adding hair to their twist. And they like, you're not doing that no more? I'm not. So we just going to do these flat twists and your twist in the front without hair.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that. Well, let's try it, because, and I tell them about why I stopped. And then like the microlink clients, baby, they hate me. I done lost some.
Yeah.
I done lost some because we doing the ponytail. You can flip it up. You can do it down. You can
all that versatility.
Man,
they are cute though.
They beautiful.
That's a hard one to let go.
I just feel good about doing that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because they say you got to have a certain thickness or a certain this, but it's like I'm clamping this and I know I'm suffocating your hair. But I'm thinking, okay, they telling me that it's not going to break the hair off. I'm trying it, I'm doing it, and it's money, baby.
It sure is.
One of them a day, you can go home.
Go home.
Go home.
Yeah.
Go. Go. You dropped it, and then, girl, and then I was like, I'm not doing that no more.
Good.
They're like, what? Yep, I just stopped because it's like, I really, really care about the hair. I really do. Like, people say they care. And they may do, but I know for a fact that this is a God-given gift. And I really care. Like, yeah.
For sure. And it's so many people out here that don't. They literally don't. As professionals, they just don't. Which is why when they come see people like me and you, girl, that's like you said, we have to really build and gain their trust. It's really hard to get them to like really, see what we can do because they've been misled so much in the past, and it's always some hair horror story. You know? So when they finally come see me and you, girl, we dealing with a whole situation. It's
a twofold. Like, we're dealing with a whole situation, but I get more clients now that I've rebranded myself and gain more confidence in what I'm doing. I attract more clients that's refreshed when they come in now.
Good.
I really do. Like the new clients that I've been accepting, they refreshed, and they like, okay, like you on time, all right. And if you're not, you giving me a courtesy call. What's that? Or you coming in and it's clean and it's smelling good and it's and I have it where you don't have to pick a treatment. I'm treatment based. So they like,
that's right.
Your whole
that's right. That's like, how it always should be.
It always should be. That's how I feel. And I was like, well, I feel like that, but I feel like they should always pick a treatment. So I'm like, y'all not picking nothing. How can I restructure this to where it's all embedded into your service? Like every service is coming with a treatment.
Yep.
Your price is included in that. The treatment gonna cost you, but it's all included. So you get on there, you click twist, you getting a steam treatment, you getting the treatments that you need.
Just do it
Just
anyways. Or even when I know some of my clients, they would say like, I don't know what to pick. I'm like, just pick anything, and I'm just gonna analyze your hair when you get here, and based on what I see, I'm gonna recommend the treatment. You know,
I would tell them to do that also, but then they just wasn't picking, not at all.
Like, go and get that style.
Yeah, that was just not paying. I'm like, you know what? Let me just put it in there. Let me include it in the time, because think, if you're getting a silk press, you need something. You need some treatments to build it up. If you're getting twists, we know you're gonna leave them in for a couple of weeks or so. So you need some treatments. You know, if you're getting everything that you're getting with natural hair, you need some sort of treatment.
Right, you do.
I just feel like you do. You might not need protein, because you can over protein someone's hair, but you need something.
Yep, absolutely. A protein overload, that was one that,
that, what is it? The apogee? Everybody's doing. That's some strong stuff.
That's because of YouTube. The influencers, like,
they
you know, they mean
home,
well,
like,
but
like, you don't need to be having that stuff at home with your hair brick hard.
Girl, I mean, you sound that dryer.
I remember in my early days, I sat this lady under the dryer, Kenitra, with that apogee on there. She was, when it dried, she was stuck to the back of the dryer.
Because it's sticky too.
It's sticky, and it fuses to whatever it's.
It sure does.
Man.
It will stick on your neck. You got to make sure they all layered up to the neck. And it stinks so bad, Lord.
So bad.
Jesus.
Man.
Oh my gosh. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you this. What's something you wish every client knew before they sat in your chair?
That I truly understand that natural hair isn't easy, and that when you sit in my chair, that I'm truly invested in partnering with you to get you to where you want to be and where you need to be. And I just understand it's not easy. I'm not the stylist that say, all you got to do is, all you got to do is.
All you got to do.
No, because I had natural hair. So I'm in the shower. I'm just doing the things. It's step one, like a wash and go. It ain't no wash and go. It's a wash and
Girl, Angel.
I stopped doing wash and goes also. I don't do those anymore. I'm like, girl, no, I'm not doing that. But I just want them to know. No such thing. Just know that I know that it's not easy, and I'll meet you where you are. I'll meet you where you are. Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to be honest, but I will meet you where you are. Well, we will come up with a plan. But I know it's a journey, and I know it's not easy, and, just partnership with people.
It's really collaborative.
It is. It's so collaborative.
When we decide we're going to lock in on this hair journey, we collaborating. I'm betting on you to show up for your appointments, and you betting on me to reach your hair goals, whatever that may be, And I feel like if we looked at it more like we're collaborating, the journey could be so much more healthier. I ain't gonna say it's gonna be easy.
No.
But it'll be healthier for your hair.
Right. And it's worth it. What's worth having that is easy? Nothing came easy that was really worth having. And if it came so easy, you should question it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should question
those are facts. Nothing in life worth having is easy at all. Well, thank you, Angel, for extending your time and sharing your expertise and your knowledge with us today. If you would like for our listeners to connect with you, please shout out your social media networks, your website information, and also how to book you.
My website is www.beyondbeautyhair. That's Beyond Beauty is spelled BEAUTEA hair.com. And you can actually book from the website as well. Yep.
And then on social media?
On social media, I'm beyond.beauty on Instagram. That's all I got right now.
Good for you.
I get so overwhelmed with it, girl. Yeah. So that's all I have is Instagram and my website.
Girl,
I've been doing
I'm
fine.
really trying to figure out which one I'm letting go. I'm like, is it going to be TikTok or is it going to be Instagram? But I'm letting one of them go. I don't know which one it's going to be.
I feel like you do so good.
I don't know. Like, I get overwhelmed too. It might not look like it, but it's very overwhelming trying to balance all those different social medias. That's why sometimes I will go ghost and don't post because I'm tired, But people who are more consistent, they have like one.
Okay.
And I feel like if you focus on one, that one's gonna grow.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to figure out the algorithm for this one, figure out the algorithm for that one.
Yeah, you just like bouncing back.
You all over the place. And then you can never really grow your following, grow even the channel that you are, operating on, because it's too much at one time. Yeah. So I'm more active on Instagram than TikTok. Though.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, it's a lot. I don't care what it look like. It's a lot. I'm glad I'm making it look good.
Right, you do.
But it is
I be looking at
hard.
your stuff and I lay down like, ooh, she did good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I like it all, though. Don't get me wrong. I like creating the content. I love being behind the chair, but it was just too much. I was like, I got to pick something and just stick with it, because I'm getting old, I'm getting tired, and I just don't have time for this.
Yeah.
We got our families.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to be more intentional there, too.
Yeah.
Not just with my face in this phone all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's going to become if you keep open up a new account, because now they got Lemon 8 because they were going to shut down TikTok. I don't know if you heard of Lemon 8. So then Lemon 8 was promoting on TikTok, like, open up a Lemon 8 account if they're going to close down. I was like, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. This is it for me, because I'm trying to get rid of one of you. So
all these relationships.
It's too much.
Yeah,
and then you just sharing the same stuff across different platforms. So why?
Then you got to reply to people.
And don't get me wrong, I love that part, but not when I'm doing it on both platforms.
Yeah.
So that was such a powerful and much needed conversation. Huge thank you to Angel Henderson for joining me and sharing her insight on what it really means to protect your hair, especially in the world of braids. If you've been dealing with breakage, scalp irritation, or you're just trying to do better by your hair, I hope this episode gave you clarity and confidence to make choices that support your hair journey, not set it back. Make sure to follow Angel and connect with her work. She's the real deal. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Hear What I'm Saying. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, drop a review, and let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, keep loving on you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.